saw that James addressed some things that had happened to him that was pretty fucked up. But let me ask you this question that somebody sent me. You said to Greg Kading, Southside
Okay.
killed Biggie in retaliation for not setting their for not selling.
She jacked my question up. It was you said Greg Kading, you told Greg Kading that Southside killed Biggie in retaliation for Tupac. Because they didn't get their money for the hit on Tupac. So was it a hit or was it uh retaliation from him getting jumped? Watch what Reggie said. Now he done answered this earlier, but watch this. I got him again.
Their money for the hit on Tupac.
Okay.
Then how did
Okay.
you know to tell Greg Kading that?
Now we talking, maybe we talking like 10 years, maybe 12 years later. So the streets talk. But that was something that was said 12 years later to Greg Kading. I didn't meet Greg, ever see Greg for the first time in my life until about 2008. We all
What?
know. Yes. That's the myth that everybody believes. Like everybody has a relationship. It's just that it's this stuff that happened so long ago where it seems like people have been in relationships for a long time.
Mm.
I didn't meet Greg Kading until they came knocking on my door for the murder investigation of Biggie Smalls, and which was
Bingo! Bingo! What have I been telling y'all forever? RJ, what did he, can you tell them what he just said in layman's terms?
Yeah, he said Greg Kading came to him over the murder of Biggie Smalls. Simple.
Which makes him what?
A suspect or a person of interest.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, God. He just told on his fucking self. He just told on himself. He was the suspect in the Biggie murder, and he tried to put it on Keefe D and them. And then when Greg came in and went to Keefe D said, "Motherfucker, I was there with Biggie and them that night. We was there with Biggie. Puffy gave us 3 bottles of Cristal. What are you talking? Oh, I'm sorry. It was Poochie."
Well,
and Greg Kading went for it.
Even if we liberally interpret it, okay? Even if we liberally interpret
it. This is my friend here. I'm going to let you talk for a second. Go ahead.
Well, even if we liberally interpret it and we say that when he says that Kading went and visited him for the killing of Biggie Smalls, let's put it this way. Either A, he visited him because he was a person of interest, or B, he visited him because he knew that Reggie rolled over like a egg roll. He just rolled right over, and like he told Phil Carson, I what do you say? I cooperate. I'm a cooperating witness. I cooperate. Well, there's another name for that, and maybe that's why Greg Kading went to him. So I don't know what's worse, in because I'm not professing to ever be in a gang or be gang related or know the streets like that. But to me, it always seems that being looked at as a person of interest in a crime and being looked at as somebody who will give up information at the drop of a hat, I don't know what's worse. I don't know what the worst admission is on everything. So, that's what I think. But this has just been an amazing interview, and I do want to give a quick shout out to. Okay, now I got to get my glasses on because I've been catching comments as it went. Gaming Gang says, RJ, you adopted now. Well, do you hear that? I'm adopted now. I've been adopted.
Yeah, okay? You're adopted.
Gaming Gang said, yeah, Gaming Gang said, RJ, you adopted now. So There it is. I got to tell you a story. You want to hear a Frank story real quick? I'll give you a Frank story real quick before we get on more of this nonsense. Well, Frank and I went to talk to people.
Wait. Before you get into that, let him finish this.
Okay, go ahead.
That.
Now we talking like 10 years, maybe 12 years later. So the streets talk. But that was something that was said 12 years later to Greg Kading. I didn't meet Greg, ever see Greg for the first time in my life until about 2008.
What?
We all know. Yes. That's the myth that everybody believes. Like everybody has a relationship. It's just that it's this stuff that happened so long ago, where it seems like people have been in relationships for a long time.
Mhm.
I didn't meet Greg Kading until they came knocking on my door for the murder investigation of Biggie Smalls, and which was like 2009, 2000, at least 2008, 2009, sometime like that.
So
That's when
that's
I
when
first
they
met.
that's how long it took for them to investigate the murder of Biggie.
They were they were
What?
investigating murder. They had other investigators, but when the mother filed that lawsuit, is
Mhm.
when they set up a special task force accompanied by like 12 different agencies. I mean, every agency was on that task
Oh,
force. They had IRS, they had Postal, they had FBI, LAPD, LA Sheriffs, and
okay.
DEA.
Let me
So,
read this. Let me read this.
okay.
Juju Beans ask, Mr. Wright, we appreciate
Okay, now that he let everybody know that he was the #1 suspect in 2008-9 for the Biggie murder, where like I've been telling everybody, go ahead, you could go ahead with your.
No, hang on. No, I just want to point something out. We got a comment from Courtney, and I see her over on my channel too. And she says, if you look out the background window of Reggie's car, it looks like they're doing donuts, and the background's just going back behind them, like they're just driving around in circles. Like they're, she says, it looks like they're doing one continuous donut in the car, the way the background's moving.
Yo, he is so fucking busted. Like he probably went and took this girl money because she paid him to do this interview, and didn't think that he would get tripped up the way he did. But he gave so much more information to make himself look even more guilty now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Is there anything interesting left on the rest of that?
Let me look at these notes. Hold on. I want to say no.
Well, while you're doing that, I got a funny Frank
Oh
story.
yeah, I do.
Okay,
Yeah,
go.
one more.
Right.
When he talks, hold on, I'll show you.
.313, my boy Real. 313 Live Show. He always talking about Detroit. He loves it. So I'm coming to visit him one day.
you
Yeah.
would too. Let me see. Mel wants the link. Let's see. Let's give Mel the link. Let these people get up here because I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to be able to come back and kick it with your girl. I'm not trying to get up here and beat you up or no kind of shit like
No,
that
no, I
because
don't mind
I
it
doesn't
because
care.
that's the only way things gonna get cleared up, because there's been so much stuff out there, negative stuff, positive stuff, or whatever.
Mm.
Uh, but there's so much stuff out there and I sit back. You didn't know me. You didn't know a picture. You ain't never seen how I look. Didn't know how I look until about 2012, 2013. If you've been following this stuff, and
Right.
and like I told you earlier, I said the reason
That's
why I
not
got on
true. I
here
put his picture
is
on
because
blast
my
in
son started going to
2007.
school and all of that, and like Reggie, right, Reggie, right. And then I was like, oh, okay. My daughter's calling me like, oh, why they saying that
Daddy, you
about
the
you, Daddy?
man. Daddy, you the
No,
man. You like,
no, no. It was the other way around. Like, Daddy, why they said,
oh,
why they saying you had something to do with murder of Tupac and this and all of that? And I'm like,
This is the part I asked you the question earlier. Why did Reggie come on YouTube?
Yeah.
And you heard what she said about his daughter, right? Watch this.
Yeah. Yeah.
what? And that's what made me come out and start addressing stuff.
mm,
That's
so
the only reason.
immediately after, because this is something big. Do you think that they're going
And
to be
by the
calling
way,
you in to testify or anything like that?
I put his picture on blast publicly in Tupac assassination, conspiracy or revenge in 2007. And then I put his picture back out again off of Fox News in 2009. So this horse shit that he's shoveling, that nobody knew who he was until 2012, 2013, nobody saw his picture. That's a bunch of crap. Okay. That's a lie, because it was out in 2007. And I do know it was hard to get his picture because I had to pay a photographer $500 to license a picture of Suge and Tupac because he was in the back and it was all in the background. And I had to get that picture because that was the only way I could get a picture of him. He definitely intentionally stayed out of the photograph. Maybe that was his belief. I don't know. But
he was dirty. That's why. Allegedly.
That's what. Well, that's generally why people want to stay out of the photograph. Gangsters always go like this. They do that. Don't
this
take
whole
pictures.
thing, he didn't even touch on how much drugs he moved. They didn't even touch on that. He was an American gangster.
Well, you know what? I heard somebody interesting say something the other day. Okay. And it was one of the guys that worked with Reggie on the Compton PD. And he said, and I quote, every time I pull somebody over for speeding, the first thing they tell me is, officer, this is the first time I've ever done this. The first time I ever sped like this. First time I ever did an illegal U-turn. And he said, no, it's the first time you got caught.
Right.
That's it. The first time you got caught you were doing it for a long time, you got caught. Okay. And by the way, I guess it's a good thing since he was putting money in his kids' accounts, his money laundering money. He was putting them in his kids' bank accounts. Okay. His drug money. He's putting his kids. I guess it's a good thing his kid didn't come to him and say, why are you putting all your drug money in my bank account, Dad? Why are you doing that? Why are you putting your money laundering money in my bank account? Okay. What's this federal indictment that says that you're putting money in my bank account, Dad? He's more worried about the Tupac thing. And she's saying, why are you involved with the Tupac? You were involved with the Tupac thing. How could you not be? Okay.
Right.
Regardless of whether or not anybody says you actually had something to do with killing Tupac, that's a different story altogether. But you were knee deep in the whole thing. And it amazes me. There's actually a psychological term called the dissociative disorder. It's called dissociative disorder. And what it means is that you're actually able to take yourself out of yourself and look at yourself and speak about yourself in the third person.
Right.
Notice how he also calls himself Reggie. Reggie's a good cop. Reggie's a good cop. Reggie never said. He takes him out of the third person and he objectifies what normal people would be subjective to. So when you're in the middle of shit and you're knee deep up in it and people are dying around you and things are happening, you're subjective. That takes a toll on people. Okay. And what you see, and it's always amazed me that this guy talks in the third person. He goes, why? That's my opinion about who had him killed. That's my opinion. You were there. You were physically there.
Right.
You acting like you're watching a tennis match and you're sitting up in the bleachers doing this.
No, you on the field, brother.
You on a playing field, motherfucker.
Right. God damn it. Yeah, man. But
you just act and that's again, that's the thing,
So shout out to Kimmy Love. Y'all show her some love. You know what I'm saying? But
she did a good job.
Yeah, she got a good job of having him trip his goddamn self up so bad. Whoa! Now he found out about the shooting at the hospital from Suge in the emergency room. Wow, we gotta make sure Suge see this so he can address that on collect calls. Reggie came and talked to him in the emergency room, like they just let anybody run in the back of the emergency room. Okay.
So a couple things. I've been checking the comments now. RJ said J-Mix YouTube channel used to be lit, and it was. J-Mix is living his life. He says hi to everybody. I talk to him all the time. He's waiting to make sure. Speaking of kids, he's just waiting to get his kids through school because he's got kids in school and he's trying to work and get them out of school like that. He's out living his life. I think he gave up. When you look at pioneers of people who did YouTube channels about Tupac and stuff like that, and you look at the beginning of YouTube, he was there at the very beginning of YouTube and built a channel like that, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos and interviews with guys like Dave Aaron and people like that nobody had ever heard of before. Tommy D, all these people, engineers at Death Row. He always interviewed the people that were the workers, the people that did the work and knew Tupac on a working basis and knew him that way. He didn't get into the whole, I mean, he talked to artists from time to time, but he really talked to the people that could talk about the nuts and bolts about getting things done at the record label and what it was like. And he really got deep cuts, as you call them, on on an album. You got what's called a deep cut, which is like, man, I wouldn't even known about that person if you hadn't have done that interview with him. And he researched and he found all that stuff out. I promise you, you will hear from J-Mix again in a big way. Okay, I promise you guys that. I promise you that. All right, sorry about that. So shout out to J-Mix there.
Yeah. So yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe to RJ Barnes channel. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to double back and catch up on some of the documentaries that he did before Tupac assassination, Fight for Compton, and others, y'all go look that up and go check those out. There's more information in there.
I want to tell this story real quick before I go, and then the floor is yours.
Yeah, the Frank
so
story.
Right? I'm going to tell this Frank story because I get hit all the time. Hey, you got any Frank stories? When we first did the first assassination movie, we were doing a lot of promotional stuff down in the South. We're all down in Atlanta. We were down around there, Stone Mountain, where the foundation was, and we were doing around like that. And Frank told me one day, we were doing publicity and everybody was very accepting. We went up to Chicago, went to the project in Chicago. Everybody was just totally accepting. And I was accepted along with him, treated so well, never a care. And I said to Frank, oh man, Frank, why are these people, these people are so nice and everything. I figured that maybe they'd be a little bit suspicious about, here's Frank and he's got the white guy coming with him and, they'd be playing like that.
Right.
And Frank looks over at me, and he smiles and he says, I told him you're a Creole. That's what he said. He said, he goes, look at Papa G. Papa G is white looking as white could be. You'd never know he was black. Papa G was a light-skinned black. He was. And he said,
let me tell you what's so funny about that.
And he said, but that's what he told everybody. He said he would tell everybody RJ's Creole, and I got a free pass that way.
Hey, I'm not gonna even lie to you. When I saw you in the Tupac assassination joint, I thought you was black too. Like you had the goddamn tan. I don't know what the fuck it is, but you wasn't as goddamn white as you is.
Not now. Yeah, not now. I ain't been out in the sun in a long time. I was out in the sun a lot more than those days. I've been indoors.
I swear to God, you know how many times I've seen that shit, and since I've known you, I didn't know that was you until like a week or two ago because I went back to watch it again, and then I'm listening to your voice, and I'm like, that fucking RJ. Hey, you look like you look totally different, man. I thought you was like some black guy that worked at Death Row when I first seen that shit.
Yeah, that's what Frank would say. That's funny because that's what Frank would say. Frank would say, I told him you're a crow. He couldn't get away with it now. And of course, I get the Uncle Fester stuff because I've been in my old age, I've been getting more light skin, but I'm Italian, so I got dark skin. I get out in the sun for any period of time and I go dark. I get dark real fast. Maybe that's what I need to do. I need to go out and get some more sun, I think, at this point.
Yeah, because I swear to God, I didn't know who the fuck you was. I'm trying to see if I can pull up a picture of that shit. That shit had me fucking rolling. I said, hold on, wait a minute. That's RJ Barnes? Where's the picture at? Oh, this is something different. I ain't never see this one. Oh, no, this is different. You're not whispering low enough. We can all hear you.
I'm saying goodbye, good night to my kid. That's all. Yeah, I got the greatest microphone in the world, man. It'll pick up a flight.
I tell you, it's like that. It's a YouTube or Instagram post with this lady in the church that was with this guy for like 40 something years, and they asked him, they asked her, how y'all been together so many years? And she tried to whisper in then the pastor ear by sucking his thing. And it came across the microphone in the church.
Wow.
Yeah.
That'd have been a scene. That'd have been
Right.
a scene. But that's
Yeah,
that is
I can't find it right now.
the truth is stranger than fiction category. Yeah, I was out there when I was living in Kentucky. We were out in the sun all the time. You know, I get that farmer's tan, but I get real dark. And it was about the time we did the assassination movies. And you know, what was that? But you got to remember now, that was 17 years ago, man. The first assassination movie dropped in 2007. It was 17 years ago.
Yeah, that is a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well,
picture, Reggie.
I'm gonna let you go because I know you
All
gotta
righty.
kiss the kids. Good night.
All right, time for the old man to go to bed.
Oh,
And,
you know he's gonna be talking shit about us in a few days.
Oh, well, you know what? Like I said, you know, turnabout's fair play, because, you know, if he's going to say silly things, you know, they need to be responded to. But I will say this, okay? And
Yeah.
I'll put it out there like that. Kids and wives, that's below the belt. That's just off limits. And, you know, you keep tapping on my kids, you keep tapping on my wife. You know, I don't know what I can tell you. Okay. But it's wrong. Okay. It's just wrong. And, you know, you may feel like somehow you're vindicating yourself by doing it, but you're not fooling anybody. Okay. And with that, peace. Question everything. That's what I always tell the knuckleheads. Question everything. All right.
All right, cool.
We'll see you guys.
All right, man. I'll holler at you in a minute. My friend calling back.
See you, Choke. Bye.
All right, one. Choke, no joke. I am out. I will holler at y'all tomorrow. All right. Peace.
West Coast. Put it up. No palm to the trees and the palms of dealers and fiends. Late night roam the streets. Weed is weaker, but it's cheaper. Not many chicks frontin' like divas. Out west, every chick's a model like Eva, and you know I'm far from believing her. So I'm G'ing her like she G'ing me. Banging in LA is a different thing. At the end, you either dead on the bang, getting out, doing better things. On Sunset, where they hang. Hollywood, where they hustle for change. Times Square here, it's the same. No matter where you go, you'll find a lane. On the west, they kick it with Kane. On the east, trees the social thing. East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. Grab your raps, roll it up. If you rap, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. Grab your glasses, take a toast. If you rap, East Coast. When I'm on the west and I'm doing my thing, don't offer me coke or your nose I bang. Friends don't offer other deadly things. Thanks for the hospitality, we'll still hang. I won't judge you, leave me as I came. On the road to success, top of the game. Eat all the finer things in the food chain. Teach my kids to do the same. Whether East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. Grab your raps, roll it up. If you rap, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. Grab your glasses, take a toast. If you rap, East Coast. Gotta love life, they offer wonderful things. Being to travel is a privileged thing. Came back to the east, air wasn't fresh. Streets filled with trash, various people in the eye. It's easy to tell who's upper middle class. Police and racism, same as crash. Back to where they not social, where they less vocal. When they don't know you, be careful, show you around the East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. Grab your raps, roll it up. If you rap, East Coast, whether East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. Pop your bottles and toss the cork. If you rep West Coast. Both coasts are known to give you fame. Got paparazzis playing cameras your way. Got you bobbing and weaving like Cassius Clay. Most thugs turn Muslim in older days. Change their name to Allah they pray. Probably till they decay. This go out to the east and west. For Big and Pac, y'all, let's connect. Rather East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. Grab your raps, roll it up. If you rap West Coast, whether East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast. You can't get the West without the ES. So it's manifested that we connect. You know what it is. Choke, no joke. Learn from mistakes, baby. You know what it is. Greg on the track. Rest in peace, baby. Either war, we in now. You know what it is.